introduction to Doxy Me for Jade. So where you're going to start is, unlike Zoom that has its own app, you are going to start on any browser and type in jwc.doxy.me. This is going to be for you as the clinician and also for your clients. You're going to tell everybody the same URL to get to. And so the clients are going to focus on this middle box. You as the clinician, you're going to do that provider login up here at the top left, and we'll get there. But I'm just first going to show you what your clients are going to do. So they're going to use this drop down and choose the clinician that they are going to meet with. If you are a person like me who is a Jen, and then there are also multiple Jens, you want to make sure that all your clients know your last name so they don't end up in the wrong Jen's room. But so for the purposes of this, I'm just going to join my own room. And so I clicked myself on the drop down. I'm going to click enter room, and then it's going to prompt everybody to enter first and last name. And so I'm just me, so I'm just going to type my first name and my last initial. You can tell your clients to kind of do whatever makes sense for you and for them. Maybe just first names, maybe first initials. If you don't want all the clients to know everybody else's last name, that's up to you, whatever rules you want to create. But once they type in their name, they're going to hit check-in, and then they're going to give access to camera and mic. They also do have that option to continue without camera and mic, but you can see it definitely prompts them to give access first. So we're going to do this. Yes, I'm going to allow it. So I realized that when I gave access to Doxy Me to my camera, my screen record stopped recording. So I'm sort of overdubbing, so my lips are not going to match up with the little cute video that you see of me. But what I'm saying right here is I'm showing you that it's showing the clients that you are offline right now because I'm not logged in as a clinician. When I'm logged in as a clinician, it'll show up to a client. They'll be able to see that I'm available under that left side column, and it'll say Jenny's available. And then as soon as you're available, you can let somebody from the waiting room into your actual Doxy room. And so it'll pull them in. See, once you log in, this is your landing page, or what they call your dashboard. You have all these options on the left side, and then these options on this sort of middle panel here. Right here, it's saying, hey, welcome Jen A, because that's who I decided, that's my preferred name. And I'll show you how to change that in a second. But it's saying to invite somebody to your room, you can share this link directly, or the link is going to be provided on the JADE website. So it'll be like a telehealth login portal that a client can just go to the JADE website, click through, get to Doxy Me. Or if you want them to have your link to your specific website to meet with you, you can just give that to them. You can copy it, you can send it in a text and an email, or you can use this invite via, and you can send a text message, email, or calendar invite. I did a text message to myself earlier, so you're just going to type in the client's phone number, and you want to make sure that they agreed to the vital interactions and all of the consents that it's okay to contact them through a third party with their phone number. And you can do an appointment, and I'm recording this at 10:35 a.m. so I'm just going to say, hey, our appointment's right now, you're not in my waiting room yet, where are you? Send it, and it's saying, hey, Jen invites you to this secure video call. You can change it if you want. You can just add in anything that you want it to say. When right now, here you go, and that'll be a clickable link when they receive the text message. So you're going to send that message, and when I tested it out before, it took about 5 minutes to get to my phone. So if it's 10:35 and you had a session scheduled with somebody at 10:30 and they're not there yet, expect them, it might take 5 more minutes to even sort of get that prompt from you. So I think that's just good to know, of there is a little bit of a lag time here. So edit waiting room, once we click on that, you can see that this is what the clients are going to see. I wouldn't change this at all. We have that set up for Jade for you. While they're waiting for you, it'll be just really nice and lovely to look at that. So we'll go back to dashboard. Account settings is where you can really monkey around quite a bit. So personal info, your title, you can choose Dr., Mr., Mrs., Miss, whatever you want it to say. Oh, there's more down here. Look at that. That's great. Or just nothing. I have nothing here. First name, Jen, last name, Ackerson, preferred display name. So I can change that right now to say Jen Ackerson. My preferred language is English, and you can add a profile picture if you want. And to save any changes, you have to click update. and it'll do that little green check to know that it worked out for you. Professional info, if you're licensed or you have an MPI, you can add it here. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I thought it was a great idea just to add it since I have an MPI and I know what it is. You can choose your specialty on this drop down: counselor, social worker, if you're a physician, if you're a nurse. There's all kinds of options here, so you might want to see if you fit any of these drop downs. If you're licensed, it'll have you do the state that you're licensed in and your position or title. Again, I'm not super sure where this information goes, but I thought it was cool that it was in here nonetheless. For your room, so your room name, you can change it if you want. I would say don't, because we have your room names linked under the JADE organization, so everybody kind of knows what everybody's room name is. You can edit your waiting room. We want to do that preview in dashboard so you can see what you're looking like, and so the clients can see what they're looking like before they join. Room passcode, this is where you can toggle this on and add a passcode if you would like. You don't have to. Everybody's going to end up in a waiting room regardless, and you'll have to let them in through the waiting room. Account settings, so if you want to change your login credentials, change your password, you can do that. Delete account, don't do that. We need you. You got to stay. Check-in notifications I thought is really cool. So you can do browser notifications. I'm on Safari right now and Safari doesn't support it, but if you're using a different browser, you absolutely can do that. They're saying like maybe use the Chrome browser, so it'll let you know when people are checking into your waiting room. I have it prompting to send me an email and also a text when somebody enters my waiting room. You can change this email to any email address that you want. It doesn't have to be your JADE email if your JADE email isn't like always accessible to you, but just make sure that it is a HIPAA compliant email since it's going to tell you the names of clients that are popping in. So, I would recommend that you're using your JADE email here. Is the sharing tab. So I've made changes. I'm just going to continue editing because I changed my email address. So I'm going to click update. Yay. Okay. Sharing tab is, this one's pretty cool. You can give room access to anybody in the JADE organization. So what we used to do if we're covering groups, we would share those Zoom login credentials to the person who is covering. My understanding is that we don't have to do that anymore. So if Ivy is going to be covering one of my groups, I'm going to toggle on that access switch. And my understanding is that she's going to be able to join my group and take control over the group. So she can use her own login and we don't have to share passwords or anything anymore. So that's pretty cool. I think that we'll test that out in the future a little bit just to make sure that's actually how it's working. Telehealth tools, there's an option to do photo capture. Again, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that so much since we don't want to be taking pictures of clients. We also don't want to be encouraging them to be taking pictures of the group or of each other. Teleconsents is, Dan's working on building out some teleconsents and encounter forms so that we can grab signatures right in a doxy call with the client so they can, sign their encounter forms, sign a consent. And then there's also that payment option too. I don't think as clinicians we'll necessarily be using that, but that's pretty cool for billing to maybe, somebody can jump on a doxy with billing. And then link sharing, I didn't really understand exactly what this is, but I think it looks pretty cool where it's just a button to enter the waiting room. And maybe that's something that will be built out on the JADE website. Maybe not, maybe they'll just continue to use those drop downs, but this is a pretty cool little option here. But yeah, so that's that top part. If we go back to dashboard, you'll see there's the edit waiting room, there's the account settings, so that's the same thing as right here. And then there's also these telehealth tools, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's going to be like the option for sharing a screen on Zoom. So there's the whiteboard here. Looks like there's a live interpreter, file transfers, group calls, so we can host our groups with up to 12 participants, photo capture, screen share, and that teleconsent. So it kind of just duplicates here. This analytics button is pretty cool because it's showing you how many meetings, how much time you've spent, your average by month, usage highlights. So it's pretty cool if you want to take a look at your analytics of what you're doing on telehealth. And same thing for meeting history. You can see this was me yesterday for about a minute just playing around in the Wexford staff meeting. And then your logout button is right here. So it'll just take you right back to that sign-in page.